While things are soaking, and since I had the bike jacked up anyway, I pulled both the wheels, front and rear. There's not a whole lot left of this thing, is there? Got it kind of stripped down. Uh, so pulling the airbox off entirely wasn't necessary. I was able to get in here and make adjustments to the preload on the shock absorber, so it should be much better for me. Now, I also clean up my cabinets and my ceiling after I had that little adventure with the Marvel Mystery Oil. And let's see, while I'm in here, those brake pads have material on them, but they look ugly. And the back shoes, the drums, have quite a decent amount of material on them. But you know, for $20 for front and rear, I've already ordered the parts, and I'll go ahead and replace the brakes front and rear. Here we go. These are the tires. About to throw them in my truck and go down to Cycle Gear and get some new tires on them. The tires are on order. They turn out to be an unusual size, and I had to go to Moto Tire, which is a local motorcycle tire only shop. So they ordered them, should be here in 3 days, which is fine. Can't put the tires back on until I do the brakes anyway, and those parts won't be here for a few days. So let's do this comparison. Here's the original battery, conventional battery, and it's lighter than I thought, although it's probably empty of electrolyte by now. So a bit over 4 pounds. The new lithium is not even, there you go. It's 1 pound, 10 ounces. So I'm saving 3 pounds. I'll take it. Plus, you never have to worry about charging these or anything. They don't have self-discharge. So as long as they were charged, they will stay charged. Okay, it's on to more productive things. The battery is installed. Still don't have the rubber strap, this old thing, because I haven't found one the right size, but I'll get it on there. So now that takes us to the next little piece of activity, which is a quick crank. Turn on the key. Got a headlight. I have a tail light. I don't have a tail light. Got to check that. Why don't I have a tail light? Do have a brake light, but I don't have a tail light. Okay, so that's something to check. Might not have been mandatory on this vintage. Headlight would have been mandatory, but not tail light. So the next thing I want to do, probably can't do start. I put it back in neutral. Yeah, can't do start because I have to pull in the clutch. What I want to do is about that. That's all I need. And that's to further circulate, and the spark plug is still out. That's to further circulate the Marvel Mystery Oil in the cylinder. And by now, it's probably all seeped down past the rings. And I can put the new plug in, which hasn't arrived yet. And I can put the oil in. So I think what I'll do is put the oil in now. Before putting the oil in, I did the natural thing. Changing and cleaning the 2 oil filters. The bike has 2 oil filters. It has a screen, which is on a 17 mm plug underneath, and then it has a cartridge filter in here. You know how I know it takes an oil filter here? Because it says oil filter. So here's the thing. I pulled the plug for the screen down there, and I found that second quart of oil that I suspected the dealer put in there. That guy was screwing this woman, trying to cause damage. There's still some oil in here now. Trying to cause damage that would cost her a lot of money. Fortunately, it didn't happen because the bike's not leaking. But there's a spring here. Don't lose that spring. There's an O-ring that should be replaced. They didn't send one with the kit, which is really shoddy. Now, this filter, there's some crud. There's some crud. Other than that, I don't see any metal in there, but there's crud. So the new filter, new cartridge. There's another thing. The O-ring was sitting down here on the bottom Man, that shop that did this oil change, this O-ring, there's a little bit of a nub sticks out there that this end of the cartridge fits onto. This O-ring goes around it so it seals right there. This now was just sitting on the bottom here. They didn't put it back together properly. And this is a dealer. You know why I don't go to dealerships to do my work? That's why I don't go to dealerships to do my work. They don't do it right. Now that O-ring is on where it's supposed to be. So this filter wasn't doing its job properly because it didn't have a seal. All right, it's easy. You can also install this backwards, which is a bad thing. You don't want to do that. This is an actual hole. This kind of looks like one, but it's not. It's solid there. So it only goes in this one way against that O-ring that I just had on there. Very simple. And then cover goes back on, and if you're a fanatic, you have it say oil filter back on top again. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on even though it's the old O-ring, and I will order a new O-ring. And the guys that sold me this kit should be ashamed for selling an oil filter kit that doesn't have O-rings. All right, I put these back on 8mm. Very, don't be aggressive with tightening them down, maybe 2 foot-pounds, barely more than finger tight, because very soft threads, and on these nuts too, very soft. And it's a flat mate, so you don't need to do that. Oil goes in. You notice there's no dipstick. The reason there's no dipstick on the oil cap is because there's a little view window down here, and that's how you're supposed to determine what's going on. Always use motorcycle oil. Always use synthetic, full synthetic. The reason is it's not just a gimmick to get more money out of you that you could use car oil. Motorcycles have different metals in them. They shed those metals, and they need to make up that composition. And motorcycle oils are specifically formulated for motorcycles. So yeah, it does cost more. This stuff is $10 or $11 a quart. But after all, it uses 1 quart, 3 ounces. So, you know, that's just, now on my Harley, that's a different story. It gets expensive, and I use even better oils on the Harley. And Harley has 3 cases for the oils. It's got the crankcase, the gearbox, and the primary. Another thing is that motorcycles use wet clutches. So the clutch is in this oil bath, and car oils aren't designed to give you the right friction and slip that you need on those clutch plates, whereas the motorcycle oil is designed to accommodate those clutch plates. So that's why you use motorcycle oil. Once I do this, we'll get on with the next experiment. By the way, when I was cranking the engine, I had locked down the chain with some vice grips, locked it down to the frame, and the reason I did that is because without sitting on the weight of the wheel, I was concerned that it would do a little phantom spinning of the gearbox, which even in neutral, a motorcycle will do that. And I didn't want to be spinning the chain because I haven't even addressed the chain yet. I got to get it all cleaned up, and I don't want it rattling around. Just to let you know that I did something like that. Well, there goes $11, just lickety split. On the other hand, it would be good for 2,000 miles. And on a bike like this, I wouldn't push it past 2,000 miles. I don't care how good the oil is. The 3,000 mile interval they talk about is just pushing it too far. Now that there's oil in there, I'm going to give it some more crank to get the oil up into the rocker box here, so that those things can be soaking in oil for the next couple of days while I'm doing the rest of this stuff. So once again, I have to get to the other side to hold the clutch because the kickstand is halfway up and halfway down, and it's got a safety switch on it that won't allow me to crank. So here we go. Okay, that should have been enough to pump some oil. And now we're going to do a little experiment. And here it is. I put the old spark plug in since I don't have the new one. Excuse me, and as wet as that plug is, I'm not even sure it will fire. But we have no gas, obviously, we have no gasoline. I got about 1 squirt left of carburetor cleaner. And I should at least be able to get a cough out of this thing if that plug will fire. So, squirt it in. And exactly what I expected. Exactly what I expected. Engine's good. Again, I don't know if the compression is good. There's no way of knowing that without doing a compression test, and I'm not going to, because there's so much seeping on the rings and other kind of seating issues that have to be done. I'm going to be running seafoam through the gas tank for 1,000 miles to clean. The tops of the valves probably look like crud. The entire combustion chamber probably looks like a coal mine. So it'd be just worthless to do a compression test right now. But it runs fine. That's what it smells so good in here now. You can tell I'm a wrench junkie just from that odor. It smells so good. Okay, very successful. Next.